Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Can we do that again? We have some special guests here. I want them to hear that Bruiser spirit. Good afternoon, everyone. There we go. Well, welcome to this special morning here at GPS as we celebrate the first day of Women's History Month together as a school, along with some very special guests. We've invited on stage today 6 alumni who have generously given their time to share with us about their experience as bruisers and how their paths were impacted by their teachers, coaches, and administrators. Just like you, they once walked these halls, went to rehearsals and practices, attended dances and games, and dreamed of who they would become as women of change and purpose. And in fact, you've probably noticed on the screens today, we have put up their senior pictures so you can see what they look like when they were here at GPS. These women have made meaningful contributions to their communities through their leadership, acts of service, and hard work. They have challenged gender norms and changed others' views on what women are truly capable of. I look forward to hearing more about their stories today. After our panel, you will get to spend more time with our impressive alumni during lunch and in smaller groups where you can ask them questions and gain a closer perspective of their experiences. We are so very grateful to all of you who have joined us here today. Welcome home, and we really look forward to hearing more about your stories and your lives post-GPS. And we hope you return often. So thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And now I'm honored to introduce your CLC, who will introduce our panelists.
Okay, first I'd like to introduce Portia Warren Adams, the class of 2007. Portia Warren Adams attended Furman University, where she studied biology before receiving her master's degree in public health from Mercer University and her doctor of osteopathy degree from Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine. She graduated residency in 2023 from UT College of Medicine, Chattanooga, and is an OBGYN. Her areas of interest are adolescent health and gynecology, minority health, public health, and sex education and prevention. Her practice is the Women's Health Services in Chattanooga. She's a member of the GPS Black Alumni Council. I'd also like to introduce Colonel Dione Rowland Flynn, class of 91. Colonel Dione Rowland Flynn attended the U.S. Air Force Academy, where she received her commission as an officer into the Air Force in 1995. Her first assignment, a weapons systems test manager for high-speed rocket sleds at the 846th Test Squadron on Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. 25 years of public service in both civilian and military positions followed, earning Flynn the rank of colonel. Today she serves as commander of the 94th Mission Support Group on Robbins Air Force Base in Georgia. In her role, she was responsible for the leadership and management of agile combat support squadrons, flights, and staff agencies for a wing that consists of 8 C-130H-3 aircraft and more than 2,100 traditional Air Force reservists, Air Reserve technicians, active guard reservists, federal civil service employees, and host-based contractors.
Next we have Andrea Saul Nosebush. Andrea Saul Nosebush, class of 2000, is Vice President of Public Affairs for Meta Inc. Prior to her current job at Meta, she ran global communications for Instagram. She also previously served as Vice President of Communications for both Instacart and LeanIn.org, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping women achieve their ambitions, and was National Press Secretary for Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign. Andrea graduated magna cum laude from Vanderbilt University. While at GPS, she was a part of the GPS state winning tennis team and won the state tournament in tennis for doubles. She serves on the GPS Board of Trustees.
Next up, we have Ashley Moore Palmer from the class of 99. Honorable Ashley Moore Palmer is a state court judge in Cobb County, Georgia, where she has served since her appointment in June 2021. Ashley received both her undergraduate and law degrees from Vanderbilt University. She chairs the State Bar of Georgia's Local and Voluntary Bar Committee and serves on the Cobb Chamber DE&I Council, the GABWA Foundation Board, and the State Bar of Georgia's Young Lawyers Division / High School Mock Trial State Finals Planning Board. Despite her Georgia residency, she remains committed to her alma mater, having previously served on the GPS Alum Advisory Council Board, the GPS Young Alumnae Council, and as a member of the Head of School Search Committee. She is currently a member of the GPS Board of Trustees, serving as an at-large member of the Executive Committee.
Next up, we have Lily Ryan, class of 07. Lily graduated from the University of Georgia in 2011 with a BBA in marketing and a BA in German. Her career at Disney began on the Disney College program in 2008, and she's enjoyed an extensive career across the Walt Disney World Resort. She started as a lifeguard and made her way through roles across both parks and resorts before starting her current role as a project manager with the environmental sustainability line of business. She completed her MBA at Bellevue University in 2021 through the Disney's Aspire program. In her time with Disney, Lily has been selected as a facilitator for Disney Traditions, is a 2-time Walt Disney World Ambassador semifinalist, and was named a Walt Disney Legacy Award recipient in 2022. And finally, we have Melody Shikari, class of 06. Melody serves as the Executive Director of the Women's Fund of Greater Chattanooga. She has extensive experience in managing teams, working with notable stakeholders, and advocating for policy issues. Most recently, she worked as an attorney and consultant at her eponymous firm, Shikari Law PLLC, where she consulted with local officials and worked on federal grant applications. Her leadership experience includes managing her law office with over 800 clients, served in 5 years, and running a large organization at the University of Southern California. Melody earned a Bachelor of Science in Managerial Economics from Bentley University, a master's degree in public administration from the University of Washington, and a Juris Doctor from the University of Southern California.
Wow, that is awesome. Are you all proud of yourselves? You should be. That's so amazing. I just want to thank you all again for being here. I'm so excited to share a stage with you ladies. I feel honored to do so. And I'm excited to jump into some questions. Are you all ready? All right, let's do it. So I know how much GPS meant to me. And I want to hear, what impact did attending an all-girls school have on your personal and professional careers? Don't be shy. So we got these. There we go. Can y'all hear me? Okay, great. So we got these questions in advance, and this is the one I looked at. So just so y'all know, so I was ready. Let me tell you, when you go to law school now versus many, many years ago when I went, over half of the class is typically a woman. A wonderful statistic, but when you get out into the practice, that's not necessarily the case. We leave the practice for a number of reasons, which, Melanie can attest. We decide to start families, and it becomes difficult sometimes to manage it both. I've been very fortunate that I have a wonderful husband who, when his career has been at a stage, mine has been at a point. I also have 3 wonderful children who taught me early I didn't want to stay at home with them for my whole entire life. So I was not one of those women that stepped out. But I will tell you that being here at GPS also taught me what it is to make sure that you assert yourself when you come into a room. I wasn't one who was shy. I still am not, to ask the questions, to step forward. And that doesn't mean that I also don't know how to step back and to listen, because you also learn that a lot of times when you're in male-dominated industries, which the legal profession still is, there's a lot of puffery that still goes on with the men, and they need to hear themselves speak, so you let them do that, and then you address it with probably getting to the heart of the issue. But you know, in all seriousness, you do learn that you don't have to step back and decrease yourself for other people to shine. And I think that's what GPS has taught me. And it also taught me that there's nothing wrong with having a little ambition, with being an assertive woman, with, you know, bringing your voice into a place, that you have to learn how to own that and hope that people around you will appreciate that. And I think that my colleagues do. I think that the citizens that I serve do. I always am told when I step off the bench that I always look taller when I'm up there. Probably because of my voice, I'm very loud sometimes. But also, it's the presence that GPS ingrained in me to bring wherever I stepped into a room. So.
Ashley ooh, sorry, I'm loud. Ashley took the words out of my mouth. I was going to make 2 points, and she made both of them, which is I'm not scared to speak up. And I think that part of the reason that I've been successful in my job is when I'm in a room and people are scared to tell the CEO the truth. I'm not. And people are scared, I might get fired, or what if this goes wrong? Now, when it goes right, they're happy to take credit for the idea, but nobody wants to take accountability when things go wrong. And so I think for me, like being at GPS, you were always encouraged to speak your, to ask questions, give your opinion, and that's what I've carried on. And then to Ashley's other point, it's okay to have wants for yourself and ambition for yourself. And I've seen, as someone who I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at home, I can have a career and I can have a family, and it's okay for me to want to have both. And I think coming to an all-girls school, one of the things I always loved when I was being here was I was really involved in sports, and I loved that our sports were the top sports. The girls' sports were the top sports because we were all girls. And I think that, being in an environment where everyone here is always doing the most important things and the most important activities, and it's not always bowing down to the boys' sports or things that other people see are more important, show that your stuff is just as important, and you can be on equal footing with anyone that you want.
So I think one of the things that I really learned coming to GPS is you're just surrounded by really brilliant people, and brilliant in a lot of different ways, creative and smart and funny. So you're surrounded by a lot of really great people, and sometimes when you're out there are people that don't want those people around them because they want to be the shining star. And I think this really fostered my want to be around people that are going to make me get better, and you surround yourself intentionally with those kinds of people, but you don't realize when you're in school that you just have those people next door to you all the time. And that's how you get better. That's how you assert yourself and feed off of teams and produce more than you could by yourself. But that's what I really took from GPS.
Adding to that, GPS encourages us to pursue our passions. Coming up in my career at Disney, I always described myself as a multi-passionate individual. And some people tried to tell me that I couldn't pursue all of them at the same time. But as we learned here at GPS, you can pursue all of them at the same time. I could take AP classes and be in the spring musical and do Model UN and play on the co-ed Ultimate Frisbee team. Those are all things that I can do as a GPS student. So in my career at Disney, I have worked in recreation, worked in food and beverage, worked in entertainment, and that set me up to be uniquely qualified for what I do now, where I consult with operational lines of business across the Walt Disney World Resort on their environmental sustainability. But I don't know that I would have had the courage to try all of those things I was interested in if GPS hadn't encouraged that for me. And think about it, when you're at an all-girls school, the smartest person in the room is pretty much always a girl. Yes. We can do whatever we set our minds to.
Yeah. So just to kind of capitalize on that, obviously I went into a male-dominated industry as well. The military is still very male-dominated, but it's changing. There are more and more women that are senior leaders. I know when I joined and I was getting in, women that were in the rank that I am right now, they were divorced, or they were single, or they had cats. And I'm not a cat lady, I'm sorry. So it was a desire for me to have a life where I had a career, as well as I was going to have children. I actually have 4 children. 2 of them came with the marriage, and the 2 of them my husband and I have. A senior right now in high school, my daughter, and my son who is a freshman at the University of North Georgia. So just kind of offer that I had had this conversation with my dad just this morning, which, by the way, this is an amazing opportunity for me to be here back at GPS. Throughout my travels over 28 years of military service, I am the closest I've ever been back to Chattanooga. And having the opportunity to come and be here is phenomenal, to see this school still thriving. Because I know that in my conversation with my dad, even this morning, standing in his kitchen, I talked about how he had envisioned in me very early on that I was a capable young lady. And he knew that GPS was going to continue to reinforce that with the environment, how it was going to challenge me, continue to make sure that I was going to be uncomfortable. And as soon as you're uncomfortable, that's when you know you're growing. So getting into some uncomfortable settings, being challenged. So when I did go graduating from here, because I had figured out I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy when I was 12. And the first thing I got from my peers at the time was, wait a minute, you're a girl. I was like, but you didn't meet this girl. You haven't met me yet. And so when it was time for me to go to the Air Force Academy and be, less than 12% of my class there at the Academy, I knew I wasn't leaving until I graduated. And I know it was the honing that I got from the struggles and the determination of the tough classes and experiences that have already been kind of expressed here of being around very capable people. They just happen to be women. Leaders in the room that just happen to be women. So I never thought about it of my wanting to take leadership positions or putting myself in places where I was the decision maker. That's just who I am. And I know that came a lot from my time at GPS.
I agree with everything that all of you guys said already. What I would add, especially doing what I do now, being an OBGYN, and so one of the things I always think about is the first time I stepped into the operating room to do surgery, and within medicine, it is changing now, but it's still a lot of male surgeons is what you find. And I'm also only 5'2", so I'm not a very tall person. But stepping into the operating room the first time and really commanding the room and taking ownership for the surgery, and somebody across the room looked over and they were like, you weren't scared, you looked very confident, you weren't nervous that there were, that it was a room mostly of other male surgeons at the time. And I remember thinking to myself that I grew up this way because I went to GPS, because I went to a school where you were told, don't be afraid, try something new, speak up for yourself, go first, be the first one to do something. And so that's something that I've carried with me in my career now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lily. I was thinking about your ultimate frisbee comment. We no longer have a team, but I'm sure you are giving some people some bright ideas to bring it to the table. So, but this morning when I was thinking about Women's History Month and this being March 1st, I was thinking about all of the shoulders of women that I stand on and the reason that I'm here on this stage and the reason I was able to come to GPS. So I would love to hear about any particular women role models or influential figures that you had from GPS or even beyond GPS that have really shaped and molded your life today.
I will say briefly, I did human biology with Linda Deiser, and we did a cat dissection, and my life was changed that day. I was like, this is amazing, this is what I want to do. I remember even there were some other girls who were like, I don't want to do this, and I was like, I'll do yours, and I ended up doing like 4 different cats in the room. So the combination of that, and then I took AP biology with Miss Durham, and that class was life-changing for me because the way that she taught that class made sense in my mind, and it really solidified for me that I wanted to pursue science and pursue medicine, and I'm forever grateful. I hope she's here.
There she is.
I'm so grateful for that class, so I really, really appreciate you and all that you did, and she encouraged me to pursue biology as my major, and that's what I ended up doing at Furman University, so thank you.
So mine may be a little bit different from Peggy Thomas. was an inspiration to me. And you would think that the lead dance instructor would not have an impact. I've been dancing since I was 2.5 years old. My mother started me in dance because she needed to do something with this little child with too much energy, right? Coming to GPS more traditionally in athletics, I ran track, played soccer, did those things in college as well. But dance was my soul. And so having her in class, she was rough, tough, unapologetically holding to standards, but just creative and exploratory. And I kept dance as a part of my life. You see me here in uniform, and I got dressed up for y'all today. I don't know if it's Chinese, but dance is my soul. And it always has been. And to have someone who continued to put that and make that a part of educational life has been groundbreaking for me. My kids and I, we still dance. I'm known, I'm just going to let you know, I'm known as the dancing colonel on my base at the moment. We have moments of joy and times to celebrate each other for our accomplishments because we work really hard, y'all. I spent 100 days in Saudi Arabia this past summer as a commander of over 1,000 people. I got out of Saudi Arabia 2 days after Hamas started bombing on Israel. Right? You have to find your moments of joy and to be able to reach back and know that that's part of my soul, and some of that came from learning interpretive dance, the Martha Graham way, right? That's what I got instructed in, and I've still kept that with me. So anytime there's a little bit of music, a little opportunity to tap my toe, I go back to that. So that's my inspiration.
That's really hard to follow. I'm waiting for someone to cue the music so we can see some. So the person that I looked up to the most and was closest to when I was here is Sue Bartlett, my amazing tennis coach. I love Sue. And I think one thing that I really learned from Sue specifically, and I'm sure for all of you who know her understand this, is you can be a leader and still be kind. And I think that there are so many times when people, make a point or try to push someone, they can, especially women, can be categorized as too aggressive or the B word or other things like that. And I think Sue exemplifies very kind and soft, powerful leadership.
So for me, and she knows this, but I'm going to embarrass her anyway, it's Katie Grotti. So, Miss Grotti, forever and always, is my fave. She, you all know her as your English teacher, Dean, now, but she was my crew coach. And she sought me out. I was in her 8th grade class. I went to public school up until coming to GPS. And when we got to 8th grade, I had no idea how to diagram a sentence. Miss Barati took me aside probably for about 2 weeks after school, during lunch, whenever, taught me how to diagram a sentence. And so she then became my 10th grade English teacher as well. And it was during that time, because Ms. Barati and I are about the same height. She said to me, I think you would be great in crew. Now, y'all, I didn't know how to swim then. So my mother, who also does not know how to swim, I know how to swim now, but my mother still doesn't. She said, what, you're getting out into the river and water? I mean, lots and lots of water. I said, oh, it'll be fine. They have a life jacket there. The girls will save me. So for 3 years, I was the coxswain of the crew team who did not know how to swim. My uncle did teach me a little bit of doggy paddling, but I don't think I could have saved my life, y'all. But I say that to say that when Miss Roddy taps me, and this is what it takes as a woman tapping me. When I became a judge, I'd been a public defender for 6 years before that, and then I worked in county government for 6 years. I had a couple of people who I was very close to who knew that I wanted to one day become a judge. And I had a wonderful mentor who's on the bench in Atlanta, still on the bench, and she literally called me, it was during the pandemic, and said, there's a spot opening up on the bench that I'm on now. She said, you will apply for it. I said, yes, ma'am. And so it was a similar thing with Ms. Roddy. She said, you're going to be this coxswain. Yes, ma'am. And I think that is where I found my voice. I was in this 8, For those who are crew, you know what that is. And I was telling, these young ladies, what they needed to do and how they needed to do it. And for the first couple of times, it was very awkward. I was like, I'm yelling at them. I'm telling them. But by the end, by the time I got to my senior year, y'all, it was pretty phenomenal. So for Miss Brady, and also I am an English major. I was an English major in college, and so she instilled that in me too, just the love of written word, the love of writing. It's still one of my great passions on the bench. The civil cases, a lot of my colleagues aren't necessarily fond of them, but I love to sit down, dig through the law, write reasoned order. When a lawyer comes and tells you, Tess, that was really good, and she taught me that. She taught me many things, and so that's who it is for me.
So say for me, Suzanne Smart stands out a lot. She was my drama teacher the entire time I was here. I was in drama club with her. She was my advisor senior year. Took her drama, graphic design, but Suzanne Smart encouraged us to pursue our passions, encouraged us to explore the things that we found interesting. I will admit I did accidentally call her mom in the middle of class one day. But she was always there for me, always there to answer questions, encouraging us. And then the other two, most of my teachers at GPS, when I think back, I have fantastic memories, but Ms. Mines and Ms. Hamilton from history really stand out. I had Ms. Hamilton's 7th and 8th grade history, and I still remember her lifting a stool above her head, yelling, "City on a Hill." Or taking us out onto the front lawn to reenact battle scenes so that we would know how they worked. But that sticks out to me because we all learn differently. And Ms. Hamilton understood that some of us needed to get up and move to understand that history. And I have been a trainer and an instructor throughout my career, and that's something that I take with me every time. And then Ms. Mines, again, encouraging us to go research, find what we're passionate about. But if we don't know something or we feel like we don't understand it, go learn. Go find out more. Go further than what's being asked of you so that you know that you're creating the best possible product and understanding within yourself. And that's something that I take into my career every day.
Mine don't make any sense because they're actually associated with negative memories and dealing with me when I had some losses at GPS. So Miss Good and Miss Mines shared a room and had like a weird joint classroom for a little while. And it was the scary place, guys. Like, if you had a bow missing, you did not walk down that hallway because then Mr. Toomler would get you. And demerits were different, I hear. I hear they're much better now. But Miss Good was tough. She is the only person that told me no for an honors or AP class. And I proved her wrong by getting really good at writing in my graduate school. And I lost student council, and it was a really big loss. It's not surprising, guys. I went up there on the stage and was like, the U.S. Constitution says blah, 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 blah. And then somebody won with a speech about Paris Hilton, which is fair. It was much more interesting. But I cried. I was super upset. I was upset when I didn't get in cum laude, which I thought I should have because I had the highest AP or second highest APs and honors classes. So all those times I went to Miss Good, and I don't even think she said it'll be okay. I think she just heard me out. She didn't make me necessarily feel better at the time, but I think I trusted her opinion, and she was direct, and she worked with me on English, even though I didn't get into honors English. I used to sit diagram sentences in her classroom. And Miss Mines really fostered, she was the softer side of that really funny pair. And, last year I went and watched elections in Uzbekistan and in Albania and in Serbia, even though I live here in Chattanooga. And I think that Miss Mines really kind of opened your mind up to what the world looks like, what maps look like, what's out there. So I think that's my pair.
Yeah, that's great. We love the honesty. I don't think I could have asked for better answers. So since we're already going down memory lane, let's have some fun, okay? So next to you, I think on your right, there's a yes-no. Are you ready to pull them out? A yes-no paddle. And so I'm going to ask you all a few questions, and then you can say yes, no. And I may ask some follow-up questions based on what you say. And then just to note, after this, students, that there are a few of you all who have some questions that have come to mind while you're listening to these amazing ladies. We do have Kim LaFew right here, who you can come and find her, and we'll let you ask a few questions. So, are you ready? Was poppy seed chicken your favorite lunch? Oh, was poppy seed chicken not a thing? It wasn't. Okay, Melody, what was your favorite lunch? Do you remember? You don't remember? Okay, well, did you love the cookies at GPS? Okay, there we go. All right, next. Did you have an iPhone while at GPS? No. Did we all? They did not exist. But guess what? They didn't exist when I was here either. We had razors, which no one probably knows. Flip phones, razors. Oh.
I used the landline by the rotunda.
Oh, there was a landline by the
We
rotunda.
had landlines around. I would call my dad's pager and then put in my birthday so he knew I was the one reaching out. I'm one of 4 kids. So that he'd be like, I'm ready to come home or get picked up from work. And he would come from work and be like, type in pager number, type in birthday. Oh, okay, Lily's ready.
Things have changed, for sure. Okay. Was the bin a thing when you were a student? Was the bin a thing? Okay, so the bin is our student center where kids hang out. So if the bin wasn't a thing, well, can someone tell me where was the place where you hung out on campus?
Probably the rotunda, right out here. I mean, most of us would wait there in the afternoon. Our parents would come pick us up. Book bags and coats and all the things would be strewn everywhere, and that's where we hung out. And when it was nice, you got to the lawn, but those were our hangout places, what I remember.
Do you know the room between the library and the upper school?
Trustees Gallery.
That's where my friends and I would sit on the floor and hang out.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking of is the rotunda is the one that looks over the track. I'm not sure what this is called now.
Yeah. The rotunda.
Yes. Okay, that's how it comes. Okay, so we were in the rotunda, and I still remember falling asleep and missing track practice because
it still happens.
I was so tired from staying up studying or something, and I went there to take a nap, and I found myself and did not make it. Yeah. So that's where we hung out.
You can go to the next question.
Okay, last one. And I didn't set this up, Portia, but did you have Miss Durham as a teacher? Did anyone have Miss Durham as a teacher? She's still here. You didn't have her as a teacher? Okay. Oh.
I love Miss Durham. I was not good at biology, but I really liked her class because she was great.
I love that. We all love Miss Durham. All right, so we'll open it up. Maybe 1 or 2 questions from students. Yeah.
Anyone? Anyone? Okay, stand up, please.
Do I say my name or something?
If you want to.
I'm Carly, and I'm a senior. And my question is, what was your favorite GPS tradition?
Okay, so I'll start with, because I started here in 8th grade, and so I didn't get to do cat and rat, that from the 7th grade standpoint, but GPS still had 8th grade buddies. And my 8th grade buddy was Lee Curitan, and to this day, she and I are good friends. From the very first reflection, when my mother passed away, I didn't tell anybody. My mother passed away in 2003 from pancreatic cancer. Less than a month from when she was diagnosed, I lost her. And I went to the funeral, and Lee was there. I didn't call her. She showed up. So the connections that GPS makes for new students, even if they don't start for 7th grade, 8th grade, that tradition in itself has made a lifelong friendship for me.
I would say May Day now, because I remember coming to school, like getting out of class with my sister. She was class of 2002, I was 07, and I remember leaving whatever class I was in to go and help her get ready for May Day and thinking like, I can't wait till it's my day. And so on my May Day, she came back from Atlanta to get me ready, and my younger sister was in 6th grade, and she did the same thing. We like watched her 6th grade dances, and then she came and helped me get ready, and then I did the same for her in 2013. So like the May Day tradition, but then also being a part of my family with my sisters is absolutely my favorite thing.
I would say I also did not get to do cat rat as a rat. I came in 7th grade, and everyone else had already done it in 6th grade. But just the relationship that I was able to build with my rat, Lindsay Wills, who was one of my little sister's friends. We would leave each other surprises in our locker. I still own a lot of cat toys that are shaped like mice. I've never owned a cat, but I have these cat toys that she gave me during that time, just as little surprises, and it was so great knowing that I could make her day really wonderful with a note or with a small gift, and she could do the same, and that's something that I've been able to take into my career, into mentor-mentee relationships. Those relationships are really valuable, and I learned that here.
Cool. Lily, that actually leads us into our next question. Just one moment, please.
So do y'all still remember your cats from Cat Rat?
Yeah, do you still remember your cats from Cat Rat?
So my most favorite memory was Cat Rat, and yes, my cat and I, just like Dion, we still keep in touch. She lives in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. She's married, has 2 children, is a school psychologist. We still text, we still get together. She had a tragedy in her life. She lost her brother tragically several years back. I was at the funeral. We still remain very important parts of each other's lives. So absolutely, my cat is still very much in my life.
Cool. Okay, so we have 4 more here, so we're going to go through these 4, and then we'll move on to our next topic.
Hi, I'm Coraline. I'm in 7th grade. What was your all's favorite thing about GPS overall?
Ooh, speed answers, ladies.
The relationships. My best friend came from GPS. We were still best friends 20 plus years later.
Being prepared for college, and college being easy because it wasn't as hard as GPS.
Just to add to that, law school was as hard as GPS for me.
I have to second knowing that I can walk into any room with confidence, knowing because the campaign when I was here was that we were girls with power and strength, and I still find myself saying that.
Awesome. Okay, next question.
Hi, I'm Danny. I'm a freshman. If you had one word of advice to give out that led you to succeed in your respective fields, what would it be?
I would say for medicine to never give up, and if you're going to pursue it, do it on your own terms. And that probably goes with anything, but do it because your heart's in it, and do it on your own terms, and give it all you got.
Self-discipline. When you decide that you want something.
Carry on.
Okay. All right. Self-discipline. When you decide that there's something that you want, as she said, the self-discipline and the determination. When people say they can't do something, that's exactly, they can't. When you say you can, you will.
Cool. Okay, next question.
Okay, hey, I'm Riley. I'm a freshman. What's one thing or a few things that y'all did in school that we may not do now, but you wish we continued doing?
Do you do chapel talk still?
Yes. We had, and I was the Robin Hood representative, lead the thing called Robin Hood. So every October, I think it was, like during that week, we would do like all these great community service things. We would go volunteer. We would sell like, yes, it was the one week during school we could bring in like fast food and we would sell it to everybody and we raise the money and we give it to different organizations like the food kitchen. So that was one of my favorite ones, but I don't think I have that anymore. So.
Okay, I think y'all are going to like this. This is our last question. I think it's a really good one.
So, hi, I'm Montgomery. I'm 7th grade. If y'all could come back to GPS, would you?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely yes. Yes.
There is
Awesome.
absolutely
Thank
no question. Oh, sorry. There is absolutely no question. I would.
I was just going to add one thing about the one thing that you could do in your career, and that would be to be flexible. I was talking to Ashley, and neither one of us had wanted to practice criminal law when we were in law school, and both ended up doing it. I never planned to move to Chattanooga. I was the least likely to come back to Chattanooga in my class, and somehow I'm here, and also Ann Boatner, who's in my class, is also here. So just be flexible and be open for opportunities, because things will come up you never planned. Have your plan, but then also be willing to change it when the opportunity knocks.
Okay, we could literally spend all day here talking and just learning from you all. So can we give them one last round of applause? So, I know. We're going to go ahead and let our guests go to lunch. And if you are in the upper school, they are actually going to be there for you all to have lunch with them. So we would love for you all to join them at a table. So Ms. Lafayette, hold 1 second. We're going to let them go to lunch first. Thank you all. So they will be there to have lunch with you. Middle school, you all are having lunch in the athletic commons. Middle school is having lunch in athletic commons.